this episode, we're going to get comfortable with what it means to lead AI governance and program management, because that is the foundation domain one is trying to build. When people first hear governance, they sometimes imagine paperwork or meetings that do not matter, but governance is really the opposite of that. It is the set of decisions and routines that prevent confusion when something important is happening, especially when different teams want different things at the same time. With AI, those conflicts show up quickly because teams want speed, innovation, and useful outputs, while security, privacy, and compliance teams want control, safety, and proof. If no one is clearly responsible for resolving those trade-offs, the organization drifts into risky behavior without even realizing it. By the end, you should feel like you can describe what a strong AI governance program looks like, why it matters, and how it connects to everyday security decisions. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is a companion to our course companion books. The first book is about the exam and provides detailed information on how to pass it best. The second book is a Kindle-only ebook that contains 1,000 flashcards that can be used on your mobile device or Kindle. Check them both out at cyber.author.me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. A simple way to define governance is that it answers 3 questions: who decides, what they decide, and how the organization knows decisions are being followed. In AI work, those questions become urgent because AI systems can affect customers, employees, finances, and reputation in ways that are hard to predict. Program management is the engine that turns governance decisions into consistent action over time, so it is not just a one-time committee meeting. A program has goals, scope, ownership, timelines, and measures of progress, and it lives inside the organization's broader way of working. Beginners should understand that a program is not the same as a project, because projects end, but programs keep going. AI systems also keep changing through updates, new data, and new use cases, which means governance and program management must be continuous. Domain 1 is about being the person who keeps that continuity intact. The starting point for AI governance is aligning to business objectives, because the organization is not adopting AI for fun, it is adopting it to create value. Value might mean faster service, better decisions, lower cost, or new products, and governance makes sure the organization pursues that value responsibly. When business objectives are clear, security decisions become easier, because you can ask whether a control supports the objective without creating unacceptable risk. When objectives are unclear, teams may argue endlessly because they are not aiming at the same target. For example, one team might optimize for speed while another optimizes for accuracy, and neither realizes they are making different choices about risk. Governance creates a shared understanding of what success looks like and what constraints exist. This is why a good AI governance program starts with clarity, not with controls. A second foundation element is scope, which is simply defining what the governance program covers and what it does not cover. Scope can include which business units are included, which types of AI systems are included, whether vendor tools count, and what kinds of data or decisions fall under governance review. Beginners often assume scope is obvious, but AI systems pop up in many places like chat assistants, document summarizers, analytics tools, and customer-facing automation. If scope is too narrow, risky systems can slip through without oversight. If scope is too broad, governance becomes slow and everyone avoids it. A strong program defines scope in a way that matches risk, meaning high-impact uses get stricter oversight, while low-impact uses get lighter routines. This helps the organization move quickly where it is safe and slow down where harm would be serious. Ownership and accountability are the next big piece, and they are often what exams and real organizations care about most. Ownership means a specific person or role is responsible for the system's performance and risk, not a vague group. Accountability means that when something goes wrong, the organization knows who must take action and who must explain decisions. AI creates a special challenge here because outcomes can be influenced by data, model choices, prompts, user behavior, and environment changes, which can spread responsibility across teams. Governance solves this by defining roles and responsibilities clearly, including who approves use cases, who approves data use, who validates controls, and who monitors ongoing behavior. Beginners should remember that shared responsibility does not mean no responsibility. A strong governance program makes shared work visible while still keeping decision rights clear. A major governance objective is consistency, because inconsistent decisions create gaps that attackers and mistakes can exploit. If one team follows strict data handling rules and another team copies sensitive data into an AI tool without oversight, the organization has a weak link. Consistency does not mean everything is identical, but it means decisions follow the same principles and the same approval logic. That includes consistent classification of AI assets, consistent risk evaluation, consistent documentation, and consistent monitoring expectations. The program management side of this is building routines that make consistency automatic, such as review cycles, approval checkpoints, and updates when requirements change. Beginners might think routines sound boring, but routines are what keep organizations safe when people are busy. Domain 1 wants you to understand that governance without routines is just intention, and intention does not stop real risk. Another core part of Domain 1 is translating external pressure into internal action, especially when it comes from regulations, contracts, and public expectations. Organizations face rules about privacy, fairness, transparency, and security, and those rules often evolve as AI becomes more widely used. Governance helps the organization interpret those obligations and make decisions that can be defended later. That defense is not only for regulators, but also for customers, partners, and executives who want confidence that the organization is acting responsibly. This is where evidence becomes important, because governance decisions must be documented and the program must be able to show what controls were required and how they were verified. Beginners can think of governance as the organization's ability to say, "Here is what we decided, here is why, and here is how we know it happened." Without that chain, the organization is vulnerable not just to incidents, but to loss of trust. Domain 1 also includes the idea of risk-based prioritization, which means you cannot treat every AI system the same. Some AI uses are low impact, like helping draft internal emails, while others are high impact, like influencing hiring, lending, medical decisions, or security operations. Governance programs often use a tiered approach, where higher-risk systems require deeper review, stronger controls, and more frequent monitoring. The exam may test whether you recognize when a lighter approach is appropriate and when a stronger approach is required. Beginners sometimes assume the safest answer is maximum control everywhere, but that can slow adoption and lead teams to bypass governance entirely. A better approach is to match rigor to risk, which supports both security and business goals. Good governance makes safe behavior easier than unsafe behavior, which is a subtle but powerful objective. Program management brings structure to all of this by defining work streams, responsibilities, and measurable progress, so the governance program does not become a vague set of ideas. This includes creating an inventory of AI systems, maintaining documentation, coordinating assessments, tracking remediation actions, and setting timelines for review. It also includes building communication channels so stakeholders understand decisions and know how to raise concerns. Beginners should understand that program management is not just tracking tasks, it is maintaining a system of coordination. When a new AI use case appears, the program should make it obvious what steps must happen, who must approve, and what evidence must be captured. That repeatability reduces friction and reduces risk at the same time. The program manager mindset is that you design the process so good outcomes happen reliably, not by heroics. A governance program also needs to handle change, because AI systems change more often than many traditional systems. Models get updated, data sources change, prompts or instructions evolve, and vendors modify their services, sometimes without much notice. Governance and program management must include change control expectations so updates are evaluated before they create new risk. This is closely connected to monitoring, because you must detect drift or unexpected behavior and respond in a structured way. Beginners sometimes imagine that once a system passes an initial review, it is safe forever, but AI systems are dynamic, so safety must be maintained, not assumed. A strong program defines when reassessments are required and what triggers additional review. This keeps the organization from being surprised by a system that slowly becomes less reliable or less compliant over time. Another part of leading governance confidently is knowing how to communicate across different audiences without losing precision. Executives want to understand risk and decision trade-offs. Business teams want clarity on what is allowed. Technical teams want clear requirements, and compliance teams want evidence. A governance leader learns to speak in a way that keeps everyone aligned without drowning them in jargon. That includes explaining why certain controls are required, how the decision protects the business, and what success looks like over time. It also includes being able to say no in a constructive way, like requiring an impact assessment before a high-risk deployment, rather than blocking the project without a path forward. Beginners can practice this by explaining governance concepts in plain language and tying them to outcomes like preventing data exposure or protecting customer trust. Confident leadership is not about being loud. It is about being clear, consistent, and defensible. As we wrap up, Domain 1 is teaching you that AI security management begins with governance and program management, because that is how you keep AI work aligned, controlled, and provable over time. Strong governance clarifies business objectives, defines scope, assigns ownership, and creates consistent decision routines that reduce confusion and prevent risky shortcuts. Strong program management turns those decisions into repeatable action with documentation, evidence, monitoring, and change control that keep the program effective as systems evolve. When exam questions ask what should happen first, what ensures consistency, or what makes an organization defensible to regulators and contracts, governance and program management are often the answer, even if the words are not used. Your beginner advantage is that you can learn this as a clean mental model before you pick up bad habits, and that will make the rest of the certification easier. When you can picture who decides, what they decide, and how the organization proves it, you are already thinking like an AAISM leader.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.